Hello students, here we are into zoology NEET class. Today we are going to learn few concepts related to replication and transcription of DNA. Okay. So, in our previous class we have already learnt about the transcription of replication of DNA, right. We have already learnt about the replication of DNA. So, we have studied in our previous class according to the experiments performed by Matthew Meselson and Franklin Stahl, right. According to Matthew Meselson and Franklin Stahl, according to the experiments performed by these people, we have come to know that DNA is the genetic material, right. So, we have now got familiar with this concept that DNA is our genetic material. So, DNA is the one which is transmitted from one cell to another cell, from one generation to another generations. Okay. So, in today's class we will be learning about the machinery involved in replication of this DNA. Okay. We are going to learn about the machinery involved in replication of DNA. Okay. We are going to learn about the machinery involved in the replication of DNA. We are going to learn about the machinery involved in the replication of DNA. Okay. So, students, this replication of DNA is nothing but formation of new strands of DNA, formation of new DNA from the previous DNA. Okay. We have already studied that the replication of DNA is a semi-conservative replication. Semi-conservative replication is found in DNA. Okay. Semi-conservative replication is found in DNA. Okay. We have already studied this concept that semi-conservative replication is found in DNA. Semi-conservative replication in the sense, as a result of replication, from one strand, from one DNA molecule, from one DNA molecule, two DNA molecules will be produced, in which in these two DNA molecules, each DNA molecule contains one parent strand and one new strand of DNA. One parent strand and one new strand of DNA. Okay. That is a semi-conservative replication. Okay. It contains one parent strand and one new strand of DNA. Okay. So, in today's class we will be learning about the machinery, about the things which are involved in the replication of DNA. Okay. So, let us start learning about the machinery involved in replication of DNA. Okay. See students, the main type of enzymes, there are many different enzymes, many different catalysts or enzymes are involved in the replication of DNA. Many enzymes, many catalysts are involved in the replication of DNA. Because this is the very beginning that we have come across this DNA concept, we will be learning only few introduction kind concepts related to replication of DNA machineries. Okay. So, students, one of the main enzyme involved in the replication of DNA is DNA dependent DNA polymerase. DNA dependent DNA polymerase. This is the main enzyme involved in replication of DNA. DNA dependent DNA polymerase is saying that this enzyme DNA polymerase is dependent on the DNA strand for the production of new DNA. Okay. For the production of new DNA, this is dependent on the DNA strand. Okay. So, such kind of enzyme which is using the DNA as DNA strand as a template for the production of new strand of DNA. The one strand of DNA is used as a template for the production of new strand of DNA, right. So, that is why this enzyme, because it is using one strand of DNA for producing a new strand, this enzyme is called as DNA dependent DNA polymerase. Okay. For example, you see, in case of E. coli, Okay, what is the number of base pairs in E. coli? 4.6 into 10 to the power of 6 base pairs are present in E. coli. Okay, so E. coli contains 4.6 into 10 to the power of 6 base pairs. E. coli takes 18 minutes time for the replication of its DNA. It takes 18 minutes time for replication of its DNA. Okay, E. coli takes 18 minutes time for the replication of its DNA. So, if it is taking 18 minutes time for replication of DNA, that means this enzyme DNA dependent DNA polymerase, it is adding nearly, okay, it is going to add nearly 2000 base pairs per second. It is adding nearly 2000 base pairs per second. Okay, 2000 base pairs per second are added. That means 2000 base pairs. It's such a big number, right? So these many nucleotides are added per 1 second. So that means this DNA polymerases, they have to be very fast, right? DNA polymerases, they have to be very fast. They have to add so many thousands of nucleotides in 1 second, right? So these DNA polymerases, they have to be very fast. They have to be very fast. They are adding nearly 2000 base pairs per second. Okay. So students, when these polymerases are working with such high speed, right? When they are working with such high speed, 2000 base pairs per second, it's not a small thing, right? So when they are working with such a speed, there are chances for the mistakes to occur, right? So there are chances for mistakes to occur in adding the base pairs. So one more important feature of DNA polymerases is it has to be very accurate in adding base pairs. It has to be very accurate in adding base pairs. Okay, it has to be very accurate in adding the base pairs. Any mistake in one base pair may also lead to a mutation. Mistake in adding any one base pair will also lead to a mutation and causing several complications in the individual. Okay, that is why DNA polymerases, they have to be very accurate when they are adding the nucleotides. Okay. And you know students, replication of DNA is a very energy expensive process. Replication of DNA is a very energy expensive process. That means replication of DNA will require a lot of energy. Okay, it means that replication of DNA will require a lot of energy. DNA replication is an energy expensive process. The energy required for DNA replication is provided by deoxynucleoside triphosphates. Okay, these deoxynucleoside triphosphates, they are having two functions. They have dual functions. Okay, first one is they are acting like enzymes in adding nucleotides. They are acting like enzymes in adding deoxynucleotides. Okay, they are acting like enzymes in adding deoxynucleotides. And the other one is they provide energy for replication. They also provide energy for replication, just like that of ATP. How ATP provides this energy for doing the different activities? In the same way, this deoxynucleoside triphosphates are providing energy for the replication. Okay. So once we will revise what we have learnt here students, and then we will learn more. Okay. So DNA dependent DNA polymerase is the main enzyme involved in replication. If we are taking E. coli, if it is having 4.6 into 10 to the power of 6 base pairs. So if it is generally replicating within 18 minutes, that means nearly 2000 base pairs are added per second. So these DNA polymerases, they have to be very fast to add that many nucleotides in a minute. They have to be very accurate in adding the base pairs, because any adding of incorrect base pairs or skipping to add any base pair will result in mutations. Okay. Replication of DNA is a very energy expensive process. Replication of DNA is a very energy expensive process. It requires a lot of energy. So, nucleoside, deoxynucleoside triphosphates, they are having dual functions. Okay, they are acting like enzymes, adding deoxyribonucleotides to the DNA strands, to the growing DNA strands, and providing energy for the replication of DNA. So, just like ATP, this deoxynucleoside triphosphate provide energy for replication of DNA. Just like ATP provides us for doing different activities inside our body, the same way deoxynucleoside triphosphate provide energy for replication. Okay. See students, the DNA strand is a double helical structure, and the two strands of the DNA are having base pairing, right. The DNA strand is a double helical structure, they are showing base pairing. DNA strand is a double helical structure which exhibits base pairing, right. So, because the two strands of the DNA are paired with each other, then how can the replication occurs? The first, the two strands of the DNA have to be separated at a point, so that from that region replication can occur. Okay. So, the two strands of DNA are separated at a point, so which is going to result in the formation of a replication fork. Replication fork is actually that point of the DNA where the two strands are separated for replication to occur. Okay. This is the place where the two strands of the DNA are separated. Uncoiling of DNA and breaking of the base pairs of DNA will occur to separate the two strands. Okay. So, replication fork is actually formed by uncoiling the DNA and also breaking the base pairing, between the DNA strands, okay, between the DNA strands. In that way, two strands of the DNA will be separated at a point, resulting in the formation of a replication fork. And here in this replication fork, the synthesis of DNA will continue, okay. See students, here the replication of DNA, it is having some polarity. Replication of DNA will also have some polarity. In whatever way the nucleotides cannot be added to the growing DNA. To the growing DNA, deoxynucleotides are added only in 5 to 3 direction, only in 5 to 3 direction the deoxynucleotides are added. Okay. For example, if these are the two strands of DNA, 5, 3, 3, 5. Okay. So, only in 5 to 3 direction deoxynucleotides are added. Okay. So, if you see here replication fork has occurred, the two strands of DNA are separated, this is a replication fork. Okay. This is the replication fork. Okay students, so now what happens is the nucleotides are added only in 5 to 3 direction. So students, if strand is like in a 3 to 5 direction, the strand which is in 3 to 5 direction, the strand within 3 to 5 direction, the nucleotides can be added in 5 to 3 direction. Nucleotides will be added in 5 to 3 direction continuously. Okay. For example, see this strand is in 3 to 5 direction. This strand is in 3 to 5 direction. Nucleotides will be added like this from 5 to 3 direction. Okay, continuously nucleotides will be added in 5 to 3 direction. So, the strand which is in 3 to 5 direction, continuous nucleotides are added in 5 to 3 direction. So, the strand which is in 3 to 5 direction is said to be a leading strand. It is called as a leading strand. Here deoxynucleotides are added continuously. Deoxynucleotides here are added continuously. Okay, here deoxynucleotides are added continuously in this case. Okay, so when you just take a look at the 5 to 3 strand, okay, if you take a look at 5 to 3 strand, this is the 5 to 3 strand, but the nucleotides will be added in 5 to 3 direction, right? So this, in this way the nucleotides will be added, okay, from the 5 to 3 direction nucleotides will be added in this way, because in the 5 to 3 strand nucleotides will be added in because in the 5 to 3 strand nucleotides are adding in 5 to 3 direction. In 5 to 3 strand small fragments of DNA, DNA will be formed. Small fragments of DNA are formed in 5 to 3 direction. Okay, so here you observe, this is the 5 to 3 DNA in 5 to 3 direction, opposite to the replication fork. Opposite to the replication fork nucleotides are added. This is the replication fork. Replication fork will be continuing upwards. So opposite to the replication fork in the 5 to 3 direction nucleotides are added in the 5 to 3 strand. Okay, so in the 5 to 3 strand small fragments of DNA are added in the 5 to 3 direction, because this adding of nucleotides, this adding of this polymerization, we can simply say this polymerization is occurring opposite to the replication fork. It is occurring opposite to the replication fork, in which small fragments of DNA are formed. Okay, so here replication will be running very slowly, so this is called as lagging strand. Okay, this is called as lagging strand. So the small fragments of DNA will be joined later on after the complete replication is over. The small fragments of the DNA will be joined with each other using the enzyme ligase. Ligases are useful for joining these small fragments of DNA. Ligases are involved in joining the small fragments of DNA. Okay. So students, deoxyribonucleotides are added in the 5 to 3 direction. So when the strand is in 3 to 5 direction, in 5 to 3 direction continuously polymerization can occur. See, this is a 3 to 5 strand. So in 5 to 3 direction, that means along with the replication fork, addition of new nucleotides can occur continuously. This strand is called as a leading strand. 3 to 5 direction strand is called as a leading strand. Deoxynucleotides are added continuously to this strand. If you take the other strand, which is in 5 to 3 direction, it is in this strand because the replication is occurring in the opposite direction to the replication fork. Replication fork is going up. Adding of nucleotides is there in the downward direction. Because of that reason, small fragments of DNA are formed in 5 to 3 direction, because polymerization is occurring opposite to the replication fork. Okay, so after all the small this strand is called as lagging strand, because slowly the deoxynucleotides are added to this strand. This newly formed strand is called lagging strand, and by using enzyme ligase, these small strands of these small fragments of DNA will be joined to each other. Okay. And then, you know, wherever at any point replication cannot occur, okay, there should be a particular point where the replication of the DNA should be starting. Okay, so that point where the replication of DNA starts, the point where the replication of DNA starts, is called as origin of replication. This is very important. The origin of replication is the place where the replication of the DNA is going to start. Okay, unwinding of DNA, uncoiling of DNA, breaking the nucleotide base pairs will result in the formation of a replication fork. Along the replication fork, nucleotides will be added, but origin of replication is the place where replication is going to start. Okay, And students, it is not only important that DNA replication should be monitored, even the events after DNA replication should be also monitored. For example, you see in the S phase of the cell cycle only, replication of DNA will be completed. Replication of DNA will be completed. If there is no cytokinesis, if there is no cytokinesis, division of the cytoplasm, or if there is any if the cell cycle is stopping in between, if the cell cycle stops in middle, then it will result in a condition called as, this will result in a condition called polyploidy, containing additional sets of DNA, containing double the number of DNA. Okay, such condition is called as polyploidy. Okay, so this is about the machinery involved in DNA replication. Okay, so with that, students, we finished to completely learn about DNA replication. Now we will learn about transcription. Okay. Transcription. To simply define transcription, transcription is the formation of an RNA from DNA is nothing but transcription. Okay, formation of an RNA from DNA is called as transcription. Okay, so from an RNA strand, a DNA is going to be produced. Okay, so how is this RNA produced from DNA? Only one strand of DNA will act as a template for the formation of RNA. Okay, one strand of DNA will act as a template, for the formation of DNA, for the formation of RNA, Okay, why both the strands are not acting like the template for DNA? See, if both the strands are acting like a template for DNA, in DNA we see that there is a complementary base pairing, not same nucleotides are present. There is complementarity present in the DNA strands, right? Because in the DNA strands, in between the DNA strands, there is complementarity. Okay, DNA strands are complementary to each other, they are not same, they are complementary to each other. Okay, so the DNA strands are because of the presence of complementarity, the DNA strands, two DNA strands, they produce two different types of RNA. Okay, two different types of RNA will be coding for different type of proteins. Okay, so this is going to confuse, this is going to complicate the machinery for production of proteins. Okay, so because two different types of RNA are not needed, we need only one type of protein to be produced from one DNA. So two different types of proteins will be produced from two different strands of DNA. So that is not happening. Okay, and other thing is, because two DNA strands are complementary to each other, the two RNA strands which are formed will be also complementary to each other. The two strands which are complementary will become paired, and it results in the formation of a double stranded RNA. A double stranded RNA will be pairing. Okay, there are two strands of RNA, they will pair, a double stranded RNA will form, then there will be no protein formation from RNA. There is no use of forming an RNA only. Okay, so this is about transcription. Okay, so one difference is there between DNA and RNA. DNA and RNA. So from DNA, RNA is produced, right? The nucleotides of DNA and RNA are same, except here in RNA, from DNA, what are the nucleotides present? A, T, G, C. These are the nucleotides present from RNA, no? So, when RNA is produced, RNA will be produced complementary to the template DNA. If these are the nucleotides present in the RNA, okay, DNA, then RNA will be like AU. A, adenosine will be pairing with uracil, okay. In RNA, adenosine will be pairing with uracil instead of thymine, okay. T will give A, G, C, C, G, like this will be the base pairs, okay. Adenine will be pairing with the uracil in RNA. So, this will be the strand of DNA, this will be the strand of RNA produced, okay. That is the only difference between the nucleotides of RNA and DNA, okay. So, students, we are now going to learn about transcription unit, okay. We will be now learning about transcription unit, okay. A transcription unit consists of 3 components. There are 3 components in the transcription unit, okay. So, they are a promoter, structural genes and a terminator, okay. A promoter, structural genes and terminator, these are the 3 components of a transcriptional unit, okay. So, a part of the DNA which is consisting of these 3 together in the series will be undergoing transcription, okay. The main enzyme, the main catalyst involved in transcription is DNA dependent RNA polymerase. DNA dependent RNA polymerase is the main enzyme involved in transcription, okay. So, this is DNA dependent RNA polymerase, that means by utilizing DNA it is producing RNA, that is why it is named as DNA dependent RNA polymerase, because by utilizing DNA it is producing RNA, it is called as DNA dependent RNA polymerase, okay. So, students, this DNA dependent RNA polymerase will polymerize, will undergo polymerization in the 5 to 3 direction, in the 5 to 3 direction, okay. Because it is performing polymerization in 5 to 3 direction, the strand of DNA with 3 to 5 polarity, with 3 to 5 polarity will act as a template strand. It will act as a template strand. The strand of DNA with 3 to 5 polarity will act as a template strand. That means this is the strand which is used for transcription, okay. This template strand is the one which is used for transcription. This is the one which is used for transcription, okay. So, now the other strand, okay, because the DNA is used for producing RNA, so the DNA and the RNA, these two will be complementary to each other, right. The DNA and RNA will be complementary to each other. So, the other strand of DNA with 5 to 3 polarity, 5 to 3 polarity DNA, but it is not coding for any RNA, but still for unknown reasons this 5 to 3 polarity strand of DNA is called as a coding strand, and the RNA is absolutely similar to coding strand except coding strand, it is absolutely similar to a coding strand except in RNA U is present in place of T. Uracil is present in the place of T, okay. Let us see. If we suppose 3 to 5 strand is consisting of A, T, G, G, C, 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 T, A, T, T, G. For suppose if this is the strand of RNA, 3 to 5 strand, okay, DNA. On the other strand, what will be present, ma? On the other strand in 5 to 3 polarity, A, T, T, G, G, C, 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 G, 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 A, T, T, A, G, right. So, this will be the polarity of the 2 strands of DNA. Okay. So, which strand of DNA is used for producing RNA? This first strand of DNA, which is in 3 to 5 direction, is useful for producing RNA, and using this as a template, this will be the template DNA, this will be the template DNA, and the other one will be the coding DNA, other one will be the coding DNA. Coding DNA is the reference DNA, coding DNA is the reference DNA for RNA transcription, coding DNA is the reference DNA for transcription. Okay. Now, when 3 to 5 template is coded, then it will contain, you see, A, it is pairing with uracil, T is pairing with T is pairing with A, right. So, T is pairing with A, G is pairing with C, G, A is T, so it is paired with A pairs with uracil, A pairs with uracil, T, A, G, C, okay. So, in this way, using this first strand, this mRNA is produced, okay. So, this RNA contains, see, this, it is same as that of coding DNA, except thymine, it is consisting of uracil, otherwise it is completely same as that of coding DNA, okay. Maybe for that reason it is called as coding DNA. So, this is about coding DNA, okay. Let us learn now about promoter, structural genes and terminator, okay. So, if this is a 3 to 5 strand and this is a 5 to 3 strand, this is the template DNA and this will be the coding DNA, okay. So, here will be the promoter, structural genes. This will be the terminator. In this order they will be present, okay. So, students, according to the coding DNA, the reference of RNA will be present. So, students, the promoter, it is present upstream to structural genes, upstream to structural genes. Yes, so here we are referring it with the coding DNA. So, we have to say it is at the 5' end. Yes, structural genes are present in 3 to 5 DNA only, but because we are referring it with the coding DNA, we have to say that it is present at the 5' end. So, promoter is present upstream to the structural genes at the 5' end. Upstream means above the structural genes at the 5' end, okay. At the promoter region, the enzyme DNA dependent RNA polymerase will bind, RNA polymerase will bind, okay, and it will continue to add new, it will continue to perform polymerization in 5 to 3 direction, in 5 to 3 direction, okay. And now promoter is the region where this DNA dependent RNA polymerase is present, right. So, it will continue to do polymerization in 5 to 3 direction using the structural genes, it will perform polymerization, okay. And after that, students, then the polymerase will reach the terminator, then this DNA dependent RNA polymerase will reach the terminator. Where is this terminator present? Terminator is present downstream. Downstream means after the structural genes, we are saying it in reference to coding DNA. So, we have to say at the 3' end. Okay, at the 3' end terminator DNA is present. Okay, so in this way we have to refer the promoter and terminators. Okay, so this is how the DNA is converted into RNA. Okay, there are some regulatory genes also present inside the structural genes. There are some regulatory genes are also present. There are some regulatory genes are also present inside the structural genes which are involved in regulating the transcription, transcription. Okay, so this concept covers a lot of important concepts, students. So go through the book, and this is all about this concept. We have learnt in today's class about complete replication. We have learnt few concepts related to transcription. We have learnt about what is transcription. We have also learnt about what is a transcriptional unit. Once we will revise this concept and we will wind up for this class. So there are three parts in the transcriptional unit: promoter, structural genes, and a terminator. Okay, so promoter is present upstream to the structural genes, terminator is present after the structural genes, downstream to the structural genes. Promoter is a place where DNA dependent RNA polymerase will bind. Promoter is present at the 5' end of the coding DNA. Okay, so this enzyme will bind with the promoter. It will be slowly moving on to the structural genes, causing polymerization of the RNA. Okay, so it is causing polymerization of the RNA in 5 to 3 direction using the structural genes. Then after reaching the promoter, terminator is the place where the transcription is stopping. Terminator is the place where transcription stops. Transcription has to stop at the terminator. Reaching the terminator indicates that the transcription has to stop. So after reaching the terminator, which is present downstream to the structural genes in the 3' end of the coding DNA, the transcription will be stopping. Okay, and the regulatory genes are also present in the structural genes which are involved in regulating the transcription. Okay, so this is all about a transcriptional unit. Few concepts are there regarding transcription and regarding RNAs, which we will be learning in the next class, students. That's all for today. Thank you all for joining the class. We'll meet again in the next class. Thank you all.